Because you mentioned challenges, then what would you say are the key challenges facing the National Service Authority, now Authority, and with your new role, what are you going to do to address these challenges? Let's have an overview.
Yeah, I think that gaps are beginning to emerge between whether the people who we send to do national service are actually gaining any experience from it at all, and then whether it is serving them or serving the nation, the purpose for which the national service was established. And the gaps are very gaping. I mean, now people just want to pass through national service and have a certificate that they have finished, rather than actually learning or doing something that would have an impact. Often than not, young people want to stay in the urban areas and just pass away time in offices where they are doing virtually nothing. I mean, some people are even running shifts. They are not really working, you know, and that must cease, and it must cease quite immediately. I mean, whereas in years past or decades past, people were eager to travel to Nantong or Ho or KJB to go and do their service and have this wonderful experience that they will share with their friends and family. These days, people are reluctant to go. I mean, you have a new generation who have ideas about places in Ghana that they have never been. Otherwise, if they had gone, it's a different thing. You know, times have moved on, and Ghana has become better in several ways. I mean, health, education, telephony. So you would certainly not be living in Sabalogo and not having a mobile phone to make call, anything, or not be able to attend to hospital when you feel unwell. And this is information that we must begin to break down and share with our young people, that their services are needed elsewhere than not doing anything when it's time for national service.
So would you say that's maybe the topmost challenge, actually letting our young ones appreciate the need to extend themselves beyond the capital or the big cities?
Yes, that is very true. That is worrying, because I'm sure if you look at it, over 70% of our service persons posted are just staying in Kumasi, Takoradi, Cape Coast and all that.
That's over 70%?
Yes, doing nothing, really. Most of it doing nothing. Because if you go to places, and I can mention hundreds of places where national service people are beginning to run shifts. They go to work for 2 weeks and stay home for 2 weeks. That is not work. That is not service. Right? And that is a thing that we must confront. So for those people posted in these public organizations, we have tracked them in the last 8 years, and the data is there. It's taken them 10 years after service to find work. Whereas those...
Mr. JV, this is alarming. I mean, you said the data shows that it can take, up to 10 years
to find work. I mean, I need not tell you about the explosion that we're having in youth unemployment. People do not want to do anything meaningful because of hearsay and certain ideas they have. Whereas if you were posted in the private sector and you were doing something meaningful, it will take you at least 3 years to find work. But those in the public sector, majority of them who are working in offices where they are doing little, it's taking them 10 years to find work. And the evidence is on our streets about people going up and down on a daily basis looking for work that they can't find.
That's right.
That are not existent. And that is a challenge we must respond to now.
And certainly you can see how that gap between finding employment can lead a lot of people into certain areas that they shouldn't be going in.
Yes. It's something that the nation must confront. So, beginning this year, my aim, and I've just returned from touring or meeting all our districts and regional directors at different forums around the country. The last was Terminal, where I met the 5 regions. And I have told them that at least, even if we fail, we should do 50% parity between public and private sector postings. So that we send 50% of our service persons to the private sector and 50% to the public sector. If we end up sending up 80%, it will be very good, and I will not lose sleep over it. Because I know there are so many companies that want to have national service persons, and they do not even know how to. So I've set up 2 units at the head office and reinforced them and asked them that, let's get to work. We have come up with new digital platforms where people can approach us and get their national service quickly. I have said that within 10 minutes, if we cannot register a new company in a system so that we can post national service to, I should know immediately, because that's a problem for me. So I'm using everything possible to send national service persons to private organizations where they can learn skills, they can have good work experience, and maybe become entrepreneurs on their own, from which they can find jobs quite easily. Because as a nation, that is beginning to be a challenge. I think the official statistics is that 14% of our people are out of work. But in the youth alone, between 18 and 35, I think it's much higher than that. You travel around the country, people are sitting in groups under trees, playing drafts and all that. Whereas we have tons of acres of lands where people could have reared poultry, they could have had a goats farm, they could have had a maize farm, onion, tomato, and all that. We are in different times. We have to respond to our challenges differently. And people must face up to it. It is not about which religion or political party you belong to. It's about who you are as a person. And I have told my colleagues that we must respond to this individually. That what do we do at the end of the day? What is our role in curbing youth unemployment? And that is what my focus has been since I assumed office.
Now, Mr. Gyamfi, give us a bit of education now. We know that it's the National Service Authority, previously National Service Secretariat,
yes.
Or shall I say scheme,
yeah.
beg your pardon. What is the difference, and what extra responsibilities does having the title authority confer on you?
The past administration, and they got it right, that national service operation, their way of doing things must move from just being a scheme. A scheme, you couldn't do much. You couldn't do certain things. You couldn't levy certain fees and all that. You couldn't take certain amounts of money from certain agencies. So the whole transition is to focus or refocus, dedicate national service to a particular area where they can make an impact. So in areas of youth unemployment, about training, about learning experiences so that they can find work quicker than they are now. So they needed some power to do that, and I agreed with them that they have to. Although in actual sense, the test really doesn't add much from what has been happening. And then we were going to get here anyway, because the challenges were beginning to emerge, and it's become obvious that we have to do things differently. And that is what anybody sitting on that chair at the head office must do.